Chapter 11:19. Make way, make way. At this moment, a light shout came from afar. The crowd on the road was scattered on both sides, and a group of people was slowly entering the city. Yo, what kind of person is this? Young Haotian raised his head and looked over. When he saw the iconic sword, he knew who it was. It was the meridian-breaking sect. Young Haotian, who are these people? Brett asked calmly. Big sis, these are the people of Meridian Break sect. But, by the looks of it, I'm afraid that even the Grandmaster is here. Young Haotian whispered. To think that even the Grandmaster would be here. That was enough to tell how important this matter was. Kai Yin looked at the approaching group and asked curiously, is this Meridian Breaking sect leader very powerful? Young Haotian chuckled and said, no matter how powerful he is, he's not as powerful as you big sisters. You can poke him to death with just a finger. Is that so? Why don't you go and poke him? Yi Zizi said softly. Young Haotian's heart was filled with bitterness. He tried to please her, big sister, little brother's strength is not good enough. I really don't dare to poke. What are you afraid of? I will protect you. Yi Zizi snorted. Young Haotian dared to guarantee that if he were to poke it, he would definitely die. He wouldn't fall for it. Big sister, I'm joking, I'm joking. Young Haotian instantly admitted defeat. Ren Yao said in a low voice, coward. Young Haotian had nothing to say and could only admit defeat. The crowd standing at the side had respectful looks on their faces as they discussed in low voices. The people from Meridian Break sect are indeed not ordinary. This aura, the person inside the palanquin should be the sect master, right? It should be supreme everlasting sorrow. I wonder if deity institution's autarch Taiho will appear. Aren't you just spouting nonsense? Even Paragon Everlasting Hatred has appeared, so there's no way Paragon Taiho will be here as well. Yeah, the scale this time is really huge. By the way, have you heard? Today, in a small workshop in the south of the city, there is news of pure gold. TSK. I already knew about this kind of secret information. It really is a secret. Yu Hua and the others who were standing next to them all heard it. Young Haotian immediately said, Big sister, I just heard a secret. We all heard the secret. Oh, the corner of Ren Yao's mouth twitched slightly. This city of villains is truly interesting. The Meridian Breaking sect was very ostentatious. Although there were only a few thousand people here, each of them had terrifying strength. The weakest among them was a spirit king, and the strongest was naturally the sect master, Everlasting Hatred. In previous years, the Meridian Break sect had never participated in the Sky Arena. Perhaps it was because they had heard about pure gold that they had come. In order to demonstrate the strength of the sect, of course, they had to be pulled out and trained. Perhaps it was because the Heaven Arena had spread the news of the pure gold, but what had originally been a matter of Evil Men's City had turned into a huge matter for the entire southern region of the Kangluo continent. Everlasting Hatred knew that the Divine Academy would definitely come this time, so he gave up on keeping a low profile. After all, when it was time to show the strength of the sect, he couldn't let his guard down. He had to let the whole Kangluo continent know that the Meridian Break sect was the strongest. Everything else was trash. Everyone present could feel this imposing aura. The aura emitted by everyone from the Meridian Break sect was enough to make one's hair stand on end. They could only lower their heads in respect. Looking at the people of the Meridian Breaking sect, they raised their heads slightly. If they could, they would take the step of not even recognizing their own family. Especially when they looked at the gazes of the people around them, that kind of disdain truly permeated into their bones. Looking down on them. These trash dares to be mentioned in the same breath as my Meridian Break sect. In this world, only the Divine Academy can be compared to my Meridian Break sect. Right now, Kai Yun was a bit unhappy as he said faintly, I really want to kill these people, they are even more arrogant than us. Brett said gravely, I have seen many arrogant people, but it is still rare to see someone this arrogant. Sigh, thinking about the past. Don't think about it, don't think about it, don't dare to think about it. Yi Zizi shook her head, looking as if she had aged prematurely. With a gentle smile, Yu Hua stroked Kai Yun's hair, Flag Master, don't take this kind of trash to heart. It is precisely because they are trash that I am unhappy. If it was an expert, I would still be able to understand, but I really don't know who gave them the courage. Ren Yao was able to understand the thoughts of these big sisters. Thinking back to that day. I was such a peerless talent, I wanted to make a shocking scene the moment I appeared. In the end, I didn't get to show off, and instead got F***ed, this was a lesson learned in blood. If the heavens were to give me another chance, I would definitely oversleep that day. At the very least, I would only appear after these women left. I regret what I did in the past, however, right at this moment, a clamor could be heard coming from afar, everyone raised their heads and looked towards the horizon, a warship could be seen appearing in the horizon, and the warship was slowly sailing over. From that unique symbol, it could be seen that the warship belonged to the Divine Academy. Right now, even the people from Meridian Break sect stopped in their tracks. When they saw the symbol of the Divine Academy, their gazes carried deep hostility. This damned hypocrite was playing this vulgar trick again. He was simply shameless. People of the fake Tao despised such sanctimonious people the most. Go. Lonesome hatred couldn't be bothered to talk to this person. He was simply ruining his mood. He had thought that things would be better because of the Water City incident, but in the end, he was still the same as before. Hypocritical, trash. The Meridian Breaking Sect's team headed towards the City Lord's mansion once again. He cupped his hands at the crowd. He was very low-key, and this low-key behavior was recognized by everyone. If he was still hesitating, then he made his decision right now. He had to go to Deity Institution. The tone of this Meridian Break sect is too high, I can't afford to offend them. I can't afford to offend them, supreme everlasting hatred, why are you leaving so quickly? Wait up for me. You know, people really care about their face. He couldn't help but say a few words. I feel very great. Eternal hatred, you have suffered a setback this time, right? Who asked you to act cool? The two groups headed towards the City Lord residence. After all, since they came to the evil city, they still had to pay a visit. No matter what, he was still a powerful supreme being, the type that could destroy the world. After the two groups left, everyone was still discussing spiritedly. Deity Institution was still the better choice between two powerful sections. However, there were still some people who felt that Meridian Break sect was powerful. Just based on that imposing manner just now, if they were able to join Meridian Break sect, they would be able to hold their heads high. They are all hypocrites. Brett said faintly. Soon after, he walked towards the tavern. Yi Zizi let out a heavy sigh. This is so boring. When is His Honor going to turn evil and bring us subordinates to sweep across all planes and turn the world upside down? Just thinking about it makes me feel extremely excited. However, how could His Honor turn evil? Right now, everything is already a benevolent policy. Sigh. Let's go, let's go. We will kill again when the competition starts. Kai Yun placed both of his hands behind his head and walked forward. Just like Yi Zizi, he seemed extremely bored. These two people's acting cool was not worth watching at all. Inside the City Lord's residence, Mu Hong had already received the news that the two supreme beings had arrived, and he had already made preparations to receive them. Mu Hong saw the two figures walking over from far away. Mu Hong walked up and greeted them with a smile, Supreme Changhen, Supreme Tai He, your arrival has brought light to my humble abode. Supreme Mu Hong is being too courteous. Please rise. Tai He laughed lightly. Mu Hong went into a daze. What do you mean by please rise? I am standing while talking to you. Do you think that I am kneeling while talking to you? However, when the people outside the city lord's residence heard it, the city lord actually kneeled down. My God, is deity institutions Tai He that powerful? Even the city lord has to kneel down to receive them. This is incredible. My apologies, it was a slip of the tongue, a slip of the tongue. Tai He said in a low voice. Changhen, who was at the side, had a look of disdain on his face. You only know how to take advantage of these small things, how useless. Right now, Mu Hong almost wanted to make a move. This bastard. I came to receive you respectfully with good intentions, yet you are taking advantage of me. That sentence at the beginning, that sentence was said so loudly. And now, that sentence was said so softly. This deity institution's dean is truly trash. It is still Changhen who is at the side that looks more pleasing to the eye. The two of you, please come in and take a seat. Mu Hong didn't have a good expression on his face. You are already stepping on my face, could it be that I still have to welcome you with a smile? That's impossible. After finished speaking, Mu Hong directly walked into the main hall by himself. Changhen said gravely, no matter what, this is someone else's territory, give them some face. This face, we have to earn it ourselves. What do you think, Changhen? Tai He laughed lightly, then walked into the main hall. Hearing that, Changhen snorted lightly, then walked into the main hall. Serve the tea. Mu Hong shouted gravely. Right now, his good mood was completely gone. Changhen and Tai He sat at the side of Mu Hong, and Changhen asked, Supreme Mu Hong, coming to your vile city today, I don't feel like what I imagined. Then, what did Supreme Changhen imagine? Mu Hong asked faintly. Vile city, of course it's going to be filled with blood and flesh. Tai He added another sentence, barbarian land, am I right, Supreme Changhen? Supreme Tai He, do you have any prejudice against me? If you do, please say it out loud. Mu Hong said gravely. You are looking down on me too much. Do you think that my vile city is afraid of your deity institution? Tai He smiled faintly. Seems like Supreme Mu Hong must have misunderstood something. How could I have any prejudice against you? It's good that you don't. Mu Hong said coldly. If Tai He continued to be arrogant just now, then I really wouldn't be able to hold myself back from making a move. This is too much of a bully. Who do you think you are? Don't forget. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:21. This was the wicked city. By the way, Supreme Mu Hong, why don't we use the stone steel outside the city? Isn't this the symbol of the wicked city? Tai He asked again, purposely poking at others' sore spots. Mu Hong's heart ached. This symbol would probably be gone in the future. There have been a lot of people entering the city recently, so it's temporarily closed, Mu Hong said indifferently. This explanation made sense, so everlasting hatred and Tai He didn't say anything. If they knew the stone steel was useless, they would definitely tease him. It couldn't be helped. At this stage, it was hard to determine a winner unless it was a matter of life and death. They could only enjoy themselves with words. After a long silence, everlasting hatred asked, Supreme Mu Hong, I heard that the Sky Arena will use pure gold as the reward this time. Is this true? Mu Hong knew that these people were here for the pure gold. Otherwise, why would they go through so much trouble? Supreme everlasting hatred, I'm not very sure about this either. It's spreading everywhere in the city, Mu Hong said indifferently. Mu Hong said faintly. I still want to obtain the pure gold. If I had accurate information, would I still be able to spread it? Everlasting hatred didn't say anything. Those who could cultivate to the supreme level were all very cunning. If there was accurate information, they would have taken it for themselves long ago. It seemed that they really didn't know. It seems that the sky arena will be a little risky this time, Tahi said indifferently. He didn't actually plan to participate this time. After all, he was the dean. Participating in the competition was a little degrading. Fighting with some juniors. He couldn't afford to lose that face. Mu Hong said in a deep voice, the sky arena this time is indeed risky. I'm afraid some hidden experts will participate in the competition. By then, there will definitely be trouble. The appearance of the pure gold will be like a raging storm. After all, the pure gold is just a material, but it can probably only be used to refine one weapon. How are we going to split it? He said what the others were thinking. If they wanted to form an alliance, how would they split the pure gold? Everlasting hatred and Mu Hong didn't say anything. This was indeed a little troublesome. Let's rely on our own abilities. Mu Hong said softly. Perhaps this was the best solution. I like it. He was the first to agree. Everlasting hatred nodded as well. The three of them knew that if the pure gold appeared, there would definitely be people fighting for it. Then, they could justifiably stop them and take it. The two of you, your rooms have been prepared. After such a long journey, you need to rest more. Many thanks, Sovereign Mu Hong. The two of them replied softly before heading off to rest. Looking at the two of them leaving, Mu Hong really wanted to find a chance to kill them. Do you want to do a live broadcast of this? Xiao Tang, why does your complexion look so bad? Are you feeling unwell? Let me take your pulse. Wei Chang had a worried look on his face, and when Tang Wei saw Wei Chang's expression, she felt despair in her heart. Uncle Wei, I want to give birth to a child with you. After hearing that, Wei Chang let out a light sigh. Xiao Tang, you are still young right now. If you want a child, we can always have another child in the future. Furthermore, in the entire team, other than his honor, no one else has given birth to a child. Let's wait a little longer. Tang Wei nearly fainted from anger. If Yi Hong is the most miserable man in the team, then I, Tang Wei, will be the most miserable woman in the team. Uncle Wei. I will make it clear today. I don't want a child, I want to enjoy the process of giving birth to a child. After hearing that, Wei Chang was immediately startled. Looking at Uncle Wei's shocked expression, Tang Wei felt that Wei Chang finally understood what he wanted this time. This is truly not easy, do you still have to make it so clear? I am a girl, this is already enough, girls don't want face. However, Tang Wei was about to fall into despair soon. Wei Chang could be heard saying gravely, Xiao Tang, if you want to experience the process of giving birth to a child, the prerequisite is that you have to be pregnant. Furthermore, the process of giving birth to a child is very painful. Back then, when your wife gave birth to a child, your wife almost lost her life. This is something that you also know. Right now, Tang Wei felt that the world was spinning. Heavens, can't you send down a bolt of lightning to strike Uncle Wei? It's normal. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:22. Am I, Tang Wei, not sexy? If you want it to be big, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be big, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be big, 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 if you want it to be big. If you want it to be big, 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 if you wanted to be BG was talking about the process of wanting to have a child, but Uncle Wei was talking about the process of giving birth. Oh my god. What's wrong, Lil Tang? Did you catch a cold? Seeing that Tang Wei was about to faint, Wei Chong hurriedly held on to her. Tang Wei didn't want to talk anymore. She covered her forehead and said, Uncle Wei, let me calm down. I'm afraid that I might accidentally hurt you. Don't worry, Lil Tang. Uncle Wei is very powerful. You won't be able to hurt me by accident. Puff, Tang Wei felt that blood was coming out from her chest. Your sister, oh God, Tang Wei, will never be able to enjoy the pleasure of being a woman in my entire life. Wei Chong looked at Tang Wei who was in his embrace. He really couldn't bear to see her so worried at such a young age. She actually wanted to enjoy the process of giving birth. Was giving birth enjoyable? Tang Bingyao was still a university student, so he did not even have this bit of common sense. Sigh, he was afraid that Tang Bingyao would get depressed in the future. Tang Wei wanted to say that even if she became depressed in the future, it would be because of Uncle Wei. Meanwhile, in another inn, LV Shu also received the information from Xiao Air. These attendants were probably members of the intelligence organization, responsible for distributing information to clients. In fact, this was one of the benefits of the inn, a method to attract customers. It was just that Wei Chong and the others did not know about it. Tonight, a small workshop in the south of the city. LV Shu clapped her hands. He was very excited. Pure gold. If I can get my hands on the pure gold and pass it to His Honor. It was as if they could hear His Honor announcing to everyone right now, LV Liang, you did well this time, I want to praise you. Wow, this is simply the peak of life, the climax of life. Look at my boss, Uncle Wei, it is very rare for him to be praised by His Honor. If I am able to be praised by His Honor this time around, I will definitely become the envy of everyone. So cool, in order to get praise, he would stop at nothing. Wifey, don't go, it's too dangerous. Lulu said in a deep voice. Presumably, the two groups of people trading today were all experts. If they were to fight, the situation would be complicated, and he wouldn't be able to take care of them. The vampire sisters were very sensible. They completely obeyed LV Liang's instructions and struck wherever she pointed. Master Mage, why don't we go and show off tonight? Sun Fong rubbed against Death Mage's shoulder and twitched her eyebrows. LV Liang blushed with shame. Sister-in-law really knows how to tease a mage, so showy. If there was a hierarchy, sister-in-law would definitely be the god of show. GGG, Imperial Translation, I am a demon, not show. Hubby, if we go tonight, we will definitely be in danger. We must act in secret and not expose ourselves too early. LV Lu nodded. Her wife was right. Very few people would know about such a secret, so they had to plan their robbery carefully. Hubby, you have to wear black clothes at night so that you can hide in the dark. Wow, my wife, you're so smart. Even black clothes can't hide my green hair. LV Liang touched her hair. It was hard. It was obvious that she had used too much hair gel. Yun Lang laid on the ground and was dispirited. In the future, he had to do something to make the *T shoveling officers more active. In the Meng family. Right now, Long Outyin had also received the news and was currently discussing with Jiu Yi whether or not they should go to the small workshop in the south of the city to do something. Outyin, it is better to be careful about this matter. Old ginger is spicier. Jiu Yi had been around for a very long time. This kind of information was not reliable. Long Outyin rubbed his forehead. It would be great if teacher were to personally take action, but teacher doesn't seem to have any feelings towards this matter. Outyin, what do you plan to do? Long Outyin pondered for a long time, then said in a low voice, Jiu Yi, how about we go and take a look at tonight? If there's a chance, we will make our move. If there's no chance, we will just forget about it. That's fine, let's first see how strong the person who is making the transaction is. Jiu Yi said gravely. Long Outyin nodded his head. Since it is a secret report, if I and Jiu Yi go secretly, we shouldn't be discovered. Grandpa. Daddy. I will go and protect you too. Chu Yuxuan appeared out of nowhere and said with a cold tone. Jiu Yi took a look at Long Outyin. What he meant was very simple, when are you going to finish poking the other party? It won't do if you continue like this. Long Outyin also gave Jiu Yi a look, don't worry, I will definitely finish poking the other party next time. Go and play with little brother. Little brother doesn't want to play with me. Chu Yuxuan said faintly. Long Outyin and Jiu Yi didn't want to talk to Chu Yuxuan anymore, this is simply a torture. Go and play outside, don't disturb me and Grandpa's discussion. Alright, Daddy, Grandpa, the two people, Jiu Yi suddenly said in a low voice, will that set of acupuncture technique of yours be able to stab someone to death? There is a certain probability of it happening. How much? 50%. Jiu Yi was dumbstruck. To still not die even after that, this fellow's luck is not just ordinary. The demon city was slowly enveloped by the curtain of night, and because the number of people in the streets increased explosively, it seemed to be extraordinarily bustling. However, along with the arrival of night, the bustling scene gradually faded away. Especially at the south of the city, it was so cold that it made one's hair stand on end, as if something bad was going to happen very soon. Right now, Qing Yutong was currently looking at Yi Zizi and Kai Yun who were wearing nocturnal clothing. Using their words, if they were to wear the nocturnal clothing, no one would be able to see them at night. Mother Ker, are you trying to bluff a 3-year-old child? It fits too well. Yang Haotian immediately praised, because he was the one who suggested it, and he didn't expect that the two big sisters would actually agree to it. This is a good start. Who knows, Yi Zizi might even let me touch her butt, and if that happens, I would be able to get what I wanted. Yi Zizi's symbolic ponytail was already wrapped within a black cloth, and her face was also covered, only revealing a little bit of her eyes. Yi Zizi had no idea who she was. Kai Yun who was at the side was the same. While leaning on the side, Brett said faintly, even if you stuff more, it won't change the fact that you are a flat-chested girl. Big-chested girl, say that one more time, I'll suck you to death. Brett pouted his mouth and leaned on the door. Looking towards the direction of Voidless Realm, he was currently thinking about Zhu Tian. I wonder what Zhu Tian is currently doing. I reckon that he is currently nuzzling those two women on the bed. When I return this time, I definitely have to properly reward Zhu Tian, at least 1 month. It's getting late, if you want to go, then go, don't make the matter too big. Qing Yutong warned in a low voice. These two are the ones who are causing trouble. Yu Hua who was at the side warned, Banner Master, when I'm not by your side, you have to take good care of yourself. Yu Hua, I'm not a child, of course I know, goodbye. After finished speaking, Yu Hua and Yi Zizi disappeared from the spot. A small workshop in the south of the city, a black figure was shuttling back and forth on the rooftop. This person was precisely Qi Shuwen, how could he not come? End of this chapter. Chapter 11:23. As the workshop got closer and closer, Qi Shuwen slowed down to small steps. Qi Shuwen turned around and peeked at the small workshop. With a single glance, his black mask almost fell to the ground. There were so many black-clothed men in such a small workshop. Were they all here to trade for the pure gold? There were too many of them. And that person on the roof, my God, is this a black-clothed people gathering? Didn't that waiter say it was a secret report? Why did so many people know about the secret report? Wasn't this nonsense? Brother, are you here for the pure gold as well? While Qi Shuwen was still in shock, a voice suddenly rang out in his ears, causing him to almost fall off the roof. Get lost. After saying that, he changed to another roof. Long Outyin was puzzled. This guy is really hot-tempered. At this moment, Lord Jiu also ran over and laughed. Is this really a secret intelligence? Don't tell me they're having a black cloth party. Yeah, why are there so many people in black? We were thinking of sneaking in and taking a look at the others. We should have just walked through the main gate, Long Outyin said. This was the first time he had seen something like this, and his jaw was about to drop to the ground. Look at those black-clothed men standing at the gate and chatting. Are you serious? This is simply like a masquerade ball. Right now, LV Liang and Death Mage were standing within the group of black-clothed men. LV Liang didn't want to say anything else. This information was really accurate, but there were too many people who obtained this information. There's even a black-clothed man setting up a stall next to it. What are you thinking? He was even doing business. Couldn't they just snatch things properly? Master Mage, there are too many people here. It's going to squeeze me to death. LV Liang mumbled. GGG, Imperial Translation, let's go into the workshop to take a look. Seeing that Death Mage was squeezing his way in, LV Lu hurriedly followed after him. In any case, they had to squeeze their way in. However, within the crowd, a black-clothed man was squeezed to the side, and he was about to get angry. What's wrong with you? Don't you know there are a lot of people here? And they were squeezing as if their lives depended on it. This man in black was Everlasting Hatred, the sect master of the Broken Meridian sect, who had sneaked out. Because he had also received the information, he decided to come and take a look. Of course, he had to disguise himself and put on a night suit. He had thought that with his strength, he would definitely be able to snatch the pure gold, but he had never imagined that there would be so many black-robed men here. Even the nightwear was of the same style. It was definitely sold by the same merchant. Seeing some people squeezing into the small workshop, Lonesome Hatred also wanted to go in and see the situation. Since he was already here, he had to gain something. There were two short people in the crowd. Those two people were naturally Yi Zizi and Kai Yun. Facing such a scene, Yi Zizi and Kai Yun did not feel disappointed. On the contrary, they felt very interested. There were so many black-clothed people, and no one knew who was who. If they were to fight later, it would definitely be very crazy. I really made the right decision coming here this time. Kai-yun, what do you think? Yi Zizi said happily. That's right. I've never seen so many black-robed men before. Kai-yun was convinced as well. There were indeed a lot of people here. Let's go into the workshop to take a look. I feel like there are a lot of experts here. I feel it too. They were all lured here by the pure gold. Just what is this pure gold? Kai-yun asked curiously. Yi Zizi said in a low voice, although I don't know what it is, with so many people here, it is definitely not an ordinary thing. If we are able to snatch it, that would be even better. This way, it would also be good for his honor. That's right, but can the transaction still be carried out normally? No fool would make a transaction in front of so many people. It is very possible that they would be beaten up. Who knows, the person who made the transaction might be amongst the black-clothed people. Yi Zizi said faintly. It had to be said that right now, Yi Zizi had also started to use her brain. Looking at it from a certain angle, it was indeed possible. Everyone present were black-clothed people. If it was a premeditated plan, then they could completely use their identity as black-clothed people to make the transaction. This way, the risk would be reduced, and it would also not be discovered by others. Because everyone here were black-clothed people, who would know who was the one making the transaction. Very quickly, two petite figures walked into the small workshop. "Uncle Wei, is this a black-clothed people gathering?" Tang Wei had already realized that she was going to be a virgin for the rest of her life. "In the future, even if Uncle Wei wants it, I will not give it to him." Wei Chang said gravely, "Seems like the secret report has been leaked, which resulted in so many people knowing about it. What should we do then? These black-clothed people actually started to set up stalls to sell things, my God." Tang Wei covered her eyes, unable to bear to look straight at the scene. "Can we still properly snatch things? Can we at least make the atmosphere a bit more stifling? This matter is just like strolling in a market. Furthermore, it is a market where everyone is wearing the same uniform. It is not serious at all, and even feels that it is too sloppy." "Xiao Tang, I feel that something is not right, pay attention," Wei Chang said in a low voice as he hugged Tang Wei to his side, to prevent her from being taken advantage of by the surrounding men. "Jiu Yi, quickly look over there, two black-clothed people are actually hugging each other." Long Outyan's lower jaw was about to drop onto the ground. "Are they gay? They are actually hugging each other," Jiu Yi said gravely. "I got it." "Jiu Yi, what did you get?" Long Outyan asked anxiously. Jiu Yi had a lot of experience. Facing this kind of situation, he would definitely have his own opinion. Jiu Yi said unhurriedly, "The small workshop in the south of the city this time should be a type of masquerade ball that is similar to the masquerade ball that we have back at our side. In actuality, there isn't any news of pure gold at all. Look at how many people are coming and going, it is just like strolling in the streets." "Jiu Yi, after hearing what you said, I also have the same feeling," Long Outyan said helplessly. "This is most likely a kind of local custom. It is commonly known as a black-clothed people gathering. If not, why would those black-clothed people set up stalls to sell things? If they were making a barbecue at the side right now, I, Long Outyan, would not feel curious at all. Let's go back, there definitely won't be any results tonight," Jiu Yi said helplessly. "I came out for nothing." Long Outyan nodded his head. "Far away from home, there is actually a masquerade ball. This city of villains is a bit interesting." Long Outyan and Jiu Yi left very quickly. "The situation is right in front of me, I have no choice but to believe it." Within the crowd, Tai He was also wearing black clothes, and his complexion was a bit bad. This is also called secret information. Then what is called not secret information? Is there anyone who plays with people like this? I, a dignified overlord, was even tricked, and I was even tricked into coming here. To think that there are actually so many people squeezed into such a small workshop, and there are also those bragging people. Are you all here to snatch things or not? If you are not, then please leave, don't let this place be so crowded. F***K, those two black-clothed people are actually hugging each other, this is simply too strange. End of this chapter. Qi Shuwen, who was lying on the roof, felt that this voice is very familiar. As if I have heard this voice before, but who exactly is it? I can't remember. In actuality, this black-clothed man is precisely Axian Ba. And the one who planned this was naturally Mu Hong. After Tai He humiliated me like that today, I definitely won't let him off just like that. Thus, I called my son-in-law over and discussed the plan. After Axian Ba heard the plan, he was quite shocked. However, when he thought about Tai He's character, he knew that he definitely wouldn't expose his identity, so he directly agreed to it. Furthermore, looking at the current situation, this Tai He indeed doesn't dare to expose his identity. Right at this moment, Axian Ba shouted out furiously, and the strength of a spirit ancestor was immediately displayed. Everyone cried out in shock. I didn't expect that this person is actually a spirit ancestor. So powerful. Even Tai He was a bit shocked. If this person is a spirit ancestor, then this punch of mine is indeed quite powerful. However, I am an overlord. The toughness of my physical body is already not something that a spirit ancestor can harm. Only with this punch of mine can overlord remain unscathed. Xanba shouted out coldly. He really wanted to curse out at this black-clothed man in front of him. Is there a hole in your brain? Spirit Emperor is also able to block it. Do you even have a bit of knowledge? You can't deceive these little kids in the surroundings like this. Mighty Tiger Fist. Xanba shouted out furiously, then immediately took a step forward with his right leg, causing the blue stone to break apart, and the aura of a spirit ancestor whizzed out. He only felt that this is called a kitten fist. However, if I don't do something, it seems like, end of this chapter. Ha ha ha, alright, then let me see how powerful your wind generated from your fist is. You will be very satisfied. Kai Yun shouted out with a cold intent, and his right fist directly punched out. In everyone's eyes, this was just an ordinary punch. There wasn't even a bit of chi fluctuation. This girl is just here to be a joke. A cool breeze floated onto Tai's body. He looked towards Kai Yun, then suddenly laughed and said, "Wow, this wind generated from my fist is so powerful, you should just go and hammer your chest with that little fist of yours." However, right after he finished speaking, he felt a pain in his chest, and his eyes immediately became bloodshot. What is going on? Why does my chest feel so uncomfortable? My four limbs became incomparably stiff. The chi within my body was actually running around crazily, and it was completely out of my control. He used all of his strength to raise his head and look towards Kai Yun, but Kai Yun had already disappeared into the crowd. Gradually, he felt that his entire body was bone-piercing cold, as if countless icicles had pierced into his body. The coldness that entered his body caused he to be in so much pain that he wished he was dead. After a long time, everyone felt that the black-clothed man had stopped moving. Everyone was very puzzled, and one of them mustered up his courage and walked forward to take a look, and discovered that the black-clothed man seemed to have stopped moving. That black-clothed man stretched out his hand and prepared to take off his mask, but just when he touched the mask, his entire body actually turned into black particles and disappeared. However, at this moment, the clouds in the sky had already split into two. Looking at this scene, everyone went into a daze for a moment, and it was unknown who suddenly said, "TSK, he actually ran away." End of this chapter. Chapter 11:26. Trash, he actually used this kind of illusion to escape. He only knows how to trick little girls. That's right, that's right. But this illusion is pretty good. We didn't even notice it. Yeah, he's pretty powerful, but it's a pity that he's a coward. If he's really the dean, that would be hilarious. Taiha's primordial spirit didn't even have the chance to escape. In the crowd, Xanba swallowed his saliva. That girl. He had beaten a supreme being to the ground with a single punch. Oh my god. Just how strong would she have to be? Why was this world even more terrifying than before? Suddenly, he wanted to go home. This world was too dangerous. Xanba, calm your heart, don't panic. The old grandpa shouted from within Xanba's body. Xanba also wanted to stay calm, but when he saw Kai Yun instantly kill a supreme being with a single punch, how could he possibly endure it? Moreover, that punch just now didn't have any clues at all. This meant one thing. The girl had controlled her strength to the peak. It was too terrifying. It was too infuriating. Why did the heavens create such a terrifying monster? Xanba believed that he was really dead. Mu Hong, on the other hand, believed that he had escaped with his body movement. After all, he had already lost face and there was no need for him to stay. My son-in-law did well this time. I'll give him a good compliment when I get back. The people present all felt that it was pointless. That coward made an illusion and then ran. He was really trashed to death. Tai's soul screamed. I didn't run. I was instantly killed. All of you trash will be instantly killed. You have a pervert here, the super pervert kind. All of you have to come down and accompany me. Ha ha ha. That demon, there was no doubt about Kai Yun's strength. For him to be able to compare with Yi Zizi in terms of strength, his title of Flag Master was not just for show. Unfortunately, no one was shouting 666 right now, and Kai Yun didn't even know who he had killed. If he had known that it was Tai He definitely wouldn't have killed him. That was because Tai He was the children's mission. He was also one of their enemies from back then. Killing him just like that was simply too merciful. Everlasting Hatred, who was standing at the back, only heard the voices. He didn't see the duel at all. There were too many people. He wished he could kill his way out. It's time for the auction of pure gold. Just as everyone was getting bored, a black-clothed man knocked on the gong and shouted. This attracted everyone's attention. Auctioning pure gold. Was he serious? How could a treasure like pure gold be auctioned off? Wasn't that a little too frivolous and careless? Qi Shuwen still did not move. This show would not end so easily. And it felt like someone had set this up. Qi Shuwen felt that it was better for him to leave first and not continue to get involved in these muddy waters. If he got involved again, he might not be able to climb back up. Something as rare as pure gold couldn't possibly appear just like that. Qi Shuwen left without another word. Following Qi Shuwen's departure, many people chose to leave as well. Something was wrong. The people who were slightly weaker all chose to leave. It was fine to just enjoy the gathering for a while, but for the auction of the pure gold, there would be people who would die if they were to watch the show. In just a short while, half of the people actually left. The remaining half of the people were not afraid of death. Although it was only half of them, they still crowded the small workshop so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. He saw a man in black standing on the roof of a small workshop. At this time, the moonlight was gradually sprinkling down, illuminating the roof. At this moment, everyone felt that this person was extremely mysterious. Just who is it? Hey, the one above, you said that you are auctioning pure gold. Please take out the pure gold and let us have a look. The people below shouted. Although he said that it was pure gold, he should at least take out the real thing and let everyone have a look at it. The man in black laughed lightly, appearing to be very profound. Pure gold. It is the best material for weapons in the world. It can even be used to forge rare ancient godly weapons. It is extremely rare. Who would bring such a treasure with them? Use your brains and think about it properly. Tisk. All of the men in black couldn't help but let out a tisked sound. It is actually a trash that is talking nonsense. He doesn't know anything and is still blindly making a comparison here. However, the man in black actually took out an item from his crotch. Of course I wouldn't bring all of the pure gold, I only brought this little bit. The man opened up his palm, and the dark night could be seen instantly becoming bright, and golden rays could be seen shining brightly. Wei Chang's expression froze. The aura that this material is emitting out, LV Liang's gaze sunk. This indeed looks like it. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun looked at the pure gold with curious expressions. They were also interested in this pure gold. Chang Hen's gaze revealed out crazed greed, so this is pure gold. Just based on this aura, I feel that it is going to be invincible. A weapon that is forged out of this pure gold would definitely be invincible. If one were to use pure gold to forge ancient godly weapons, that would be a complete waste. Pure gold is a material that is so rare that it makes one's hair stand on end. This kind of material is precisely used to forge legendary weapons. Hey, how did you cut the pure gold into such a small piece? Within the crowd, someone suddenly asked. The man in black said faintly, what pure gold is most afraid of is deviant flames. Chapter 11:27. Then, how about I use the ancient artifact in my hand? Another black-clothed man could be seen shouting out. The jade bracelet on his wrist was emitting out a strange aura. With a single look, one could tell that it was a good item. Everyone went into an uproar. To actually take out an ancient artifact to exchange for it, what a huge sum of money. The black-clothed man took a look and shook his head. Everyone went into an uproar once again. If you don't even want an ancient artifact, what else do you want? Your Excellency, why don't you give us an example? The black-clothed man said faintly, I already said, it is your most precious thing. Everyone completely didn't understand what the black-clothed man meant. Just what is the most important thing? Time waits for no man. I have something that I can exchange with you. At this moment, LV Liang suddenly shouted out. However, she changed her voice. After all, this was a secret infiltration, and they mustn't be discovered. All of the black-clothed men looked at LV Liang. They were very curious as to what this black-clothed man was going to use to exchange for the ancient artifact. Right now, even an ancient artifact is not enough. Could it be that there is something better? Eternal hatred was thinking in his heart. Could it be that I have to use deviant fire to exchange for it? After all, deviant fire is much stronger than an ancient artifact. The black-clothed man looked towards LV Liang and asked faintly, what are you going to use to exchange for it? LV Liang said coldly, I'll use your life to exchange for it. LV Liang had just discussed with Death Mage. This thing is what his honor wants, no matter what methods we have to use, we have to obtain it. Even if we have to snatch it, we have to do it. When all of the black-clothed men heard LV Liang's words, they all became incomparably quiet. This black-clothed man sure has guts, to actually dare to say such words. Didn't you notice that this black-clothed man is an overlord? Furthermore, he even has deviant fire in his hands, and he would be able to let you experience the thrill of being burned by fire in a matter of minutes. Yi Zizi and Kaiyun felt that this black-clothed man was very cool, to actually say such pretentious words. This is a bit interesting. Wei Chang and Tang Wei were very cautious. After all, this pure gold is something that we have to obtain. And even more so, we can't let others obtain it. Snatching it was the best way. However, Wei Chang chose to bide his time and see just how strong that black-clothed man was. It wasn't that eternal hatred didn't think about snatching it, but because of his identity. However, when he thought about how he was wearing black clothes, and since no one knew who he was, so what? It seemed that he would have to fight for the pure gold. He would have to see how strong they were before deciding what to do. Ha ha ha. You want to take my life? Since I dare to stand here, I have a fearless heart. No matter what crazy ideas you have, I will take them on. The black-clothed man was very confident in himself. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such words. With a calm expression on her face, LV Liang took a glance at Death Mage and suddenly attacked. The blue stone under his feet instantly crumbled. Everyone was shocked. This black-clothed man seemed to be very strong. LV Liang's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, she had arrived in front of the black-clothed man. Her speed was breathtaking. This black-clothed man was at least a spiritual venerable or higher. It was no wonder that he dared to say such words. But he was a supreme venerable, and even a spiritual venerable wouldn't be able to do anything to him. The black-clothed men, whose power was relatively low, thought LV Liang was a spiritual venerable. But the eternal hatred certainly knew such a person. Although he looked like a spiritual venerable with such speed control, he was actually a supreme venerable. He didn't expect that there would be so many powerful characters in this group of black-robed men. From the looks of it, those hidden experts are here for the pure gold. Wei Chang, who was within the group of black-robed men, seemed to have smelled a familiar smell. In that instant just now, that familiar smell seems to be, Uncle Wei, we have to make a move as well, we definitely have to get our hands on the pure gold. Tang Wei said cautiously. Look at how everyone else is already making a move to snatch the pure gold, we cannot fall behind. Wei Chang suddenly laughed lightly, no need. Ah. Why? Could it be that we are not going to snatch the pure gold? Tang Wei asked puzzledly. It took us a long time to find any news about the pure gold. If we are able to find it, His Honor would definitely be very happy. Because this black-clothed man should be L.V. Liang. Wei Chang said indifferently. L.V. Liang and Yi Hong were both personally taught by Wei Chang, and the two of them would emit out their own aura. Just a moment ago, when L.V. Liang was circulating his energy, Wei Chang had already sensed it. I didn't expect that L.V. Liang would also be here. Thinking about it, it is normal, if there is news about the pure gold, L.V. Liang will definitely come. Seems like Death Maid should be here as well. After all, this person is actually one of us. Wei Chang looked at L.V. Liang. This little brother of mine has already grown up, it should be time for me to help His Honor. Is it L.V. Liang? Tang Wei said in a low voice. Clearly, she didn't expect this to happen. After all, everyone had split up to search for the pure gold. Let's just watch, it won't be too late to make a move if there is an accident. Wei Chang was still rather vigilant. Although he wasn't very afraid, in case someone were to launch a sneak attack on him, the pure gold was too important, they mustn't fail to obtain it. Tang Wei nodded her head. Uncle Wei is becoming more and more thorough in his considerations. Zizi, when are we going to make a move? Kai Yun's hands were already itching. This person seems to be very powerful. Yi Zizi tapped on the tip of her toes, then placed both of her hands behind her head and yawned. Let's see how the situation goes first. After all, the important characters are always the finale. That's right, there might even be experts among them. Kai Yun said happily. On top of the roof, L.V. Liang was currently facing off against the black-clothed man. L.V. Liang appeared to be very calm and not impatient. Because L.V. Liang was very confident, Uncle Wei had bestowed upon him power, and during these few years, he naturally didn't stagnate at all. He would train every single day, and on top of his original foundation, there were still some improvements. For example, this black-clothed man in front of him, he should be able to defeat him. It seems like you don't want to follow the rules. The black-clothed man said coldly. L.V. Liang stretched out his right hand. Experts don't need to follow the rules. Following L.V. Liang's words, the black-clothed men below began discussing spiritedly. Wow, this person sure knows how to act cool. That's right, he actually spoke out his inner thoughts. Those who like to act cool won't live for long, and sooner or later, they will die on the path of acting cool. Upon hearing L.V. Liang's words, the black-clothed man suddenly laughed out loudly. You. Interesting. L.V. Liang didn't want to speak too much nonsense and said gravely, hand over the gold, and you can leave. If you don't follow my rules, why should I hand it over to you? The black-clothed man didn't seem to be afraid at all, and when he spoke, his tone carried along a natural confidence. From the looks of it, I can only use your life to exchange for it. I'm afraid that you will be disappointed, my life, you might not be able to obtain it. It had already been a very long time since L.V. Liang met such an arrogant person. L.V. Liang decided to properly teach this person a lesson and let him know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. As His Honor's subordinate, I definitely can't lose His Honor's face. For an enemy like this, a single punch is enough. Ha! LV Liang shouted out lightly, and his dookie instantly burst out. Chapter 11:28. A terrifying cyclone spread across the scene. Although the expressions of the black-clothed people could not be seen, they were sure that they were definitely very shocked. This person is so strong. Just this aura alone, he is definitely an overlord. Yi Zizi was very familiar with Wei Chang. The aura that LV Liang released had a strong smell, and this smell was Wei Chang's. But Wei Chang's was purer. So, Yi Zizi dared to conclude that this person was either LV Liang or Yi Hong. So it was one of us. That's not right, weren't they in the palace? Why did they come to this city of villains? And to snatch the gold? Did they come to complete the mission, or to play? Yi Zizi was very curious. Wow, this person is really powerful, I want to fight with him. Kai Yun rubbed his palms together. From the aura, he could feel that this person was very powerful. However, Kai Yun was not very familiar with Wei Chang, so he did not feel this unique aura. Yi Zizi said helplessly, then, you might be disappointed. Ah, why? I can't fight even like this. Kai Yun pouted. I can't fight here, I can't fight there, when can I fight? Can I still live? Why is it so hard to be a human? Because he is one of us. Yi Zizi said indifferently. One of us? How do you know he is one of us? Kai Yun felt that Yi Zizi was lying to him. After lying to him, he could go and fight. This kind of trick has been used before, but it is useless now. I, Kai Yun, have been tricked once, and I won't be tricked a second time. This person is either Yi Hong or LV Liang. I can feel this aura. Yi Zizi said softly. If it was a little smaller, she might not be sure, but with this kind of explosion, she could definitely feel it. Kai Yun was very helpless and said disappointedly, so it's the two of them, could it be? I'm just curious, what are they doing here? And they took the initiative to snatch the gold. It should be his honor's order. Kai Yun estimated. Yi Zizi felt the same. Suddenly, Kai Yun said softly, then, can we pretend that we don't know? You are thinking of. Yi Zizi's eyes lit up. That's right, that's right. My bones are getting rusty from all this walking. It's good to loosen them up a bit. That makes sense. Then we'll pretend we don't know and fight. Yi Zizi said craftily. It had been a long time since she had fought. She didn't dare to cause a ruckus in the imperial palace, but this was outside. It wasn't her territory anyway, so she wouldn't feel sad. It's going to be fun, Kai Yun said excitedly. Right now, LV Liang was just like a deity that had descended to the mortal world. A black stream of light was emitting out from LV Liang's body, and the black stream of light was revolving around LV Liang's body, just like the special effect that appeared when leveling up equipment. He is indeed very strong. No wonder he dares to say such words. The black-clothed man could sense LV Liang's strength, but even so, he didn't seem afraid. Even the tone of his voice didn't change. However, such an expression fell into the eyes of Yi Zi, Wei Chang, and the others. After all, this kind of thing had happened before. Only when one was beaten up would one know how powerful it was. LV Liang was a little angry. This man's attitude made her very unhappy. Even if he wanted to act cool, he should know when to stop, but he still put on a calm look. Stop pretending. I know that you are scared now. LV Liang said gravely. Hand over the gold and I'll spare your life. The black-clothed man went into a daze for a moment, then held onto his forehead and burst into laughter. Why are you so funny? Why should I be scared by you? Is it because of your strength? Or is it because of your courage that doesn't care about your life? LV Liang was completely angered. This person actually dared to mock me, that is equivalent to mocking the entire team. LV Liang's expression sunk as he shouted out lightly, I'll let you experience it then. What is called terrifying? Pegasus Meteor Fist. LV Liang's right fist exploded out with a dazzling light, directly lighting up the night sky. A terrifying aura reverberated between heaven and earth, and all the clouds in the night sky instantly dispersed. It was as if there was only LV Liang's fist in the entire world. Looking at LV Liang's appearance, Wei Chang said slowly with a gratified gaze, I didn't expect that LV Liang had grown up. That's right, back then, the two brothers brought little his honor to the bar. At that time, they were still two ignorant non-mainstream people. Tang Wei seemed to have sunk into her memories. In actuality, the happiest time was still that small bar. Being able to go to and from work together with Uncle Wei, being able to eat barbecue at night, and his honor would also host a gathering from time to time. Everyone would brag and ridicule each other, it was truly quite interesting. Perhaps it was because she was a woman, Tang Wei was very touched. However, Wei Chang didn't feel the same way. In actuality, it was the same everywhere, as long as there was his honor. This green and red brothers are rather formidable. Looking at LV Liang's fist, Kai Yun couldn't help but praise. Yi Zizi said with a smile, the two of them are stronger than their strength. I heard that Yi Hong is afraid of his wife. More than afraid, he is simply like a mouse seeing a cat. Yi Zizi clicked her tongue. In the entire team, the one who was the most afraid of his wife was Yi Hong. Then, between the two brothers, who is stronger? Kai Yun asked curiously. After all, they were still not familiar with each other. LV Liang should be slightly stronger. Yi Zizi gave an objective evaluation. If LV Liang were to hear it, he would definitely be very happy. After all, Yi Zizi was his honor's direct subordinate. Oh, Kai Yun decided to fight with LV Liang. Chang Hen, who was within the crowd, turned pale with fright. This black-robed man's strength is probably above mine. Just based on this fist alone, I am able to pinch someone. Just how many formidable figures did this red gold bring over? Seems like the water in the south is very deep. Perhaps I should come out and walk around, and pay a visit to those hidden figures. LV Liang could feel that his strength was rising infinitely. It has been a long time since I went all out like this. This sort of feeling of being out of control is really too good. LV Liang could be seen slowly punching out. Right now, the air seemed to have been compressed, and intense explosion sounds could be heard from the surroundings. Those who were weak instantly bled from all 7 of their orifices, but they didn't die. Those who were strong could be seen bleeding from their ears. This fist is truly too terrifying. To think that even the air was compressed to the point of exploding. Die! LV Liang shouted out angrily, his gaze was merciless. However, the corner of the black-robed man's eyes slightly rose, and just like that, he directly stretched out his palm, and his palm faced towards LV Liang's fist. Furthermore, there wasn't any aura fluctuation, and there was only black clothes that were frantically fluttering. Puff! A slight sound suddenly rang out. This sound was just like someone farting. It wasn't the kind of loud fart, but rather the kind of very low fart. Everyone looked at the eaves blankly. That fist was so ferocious. Why did such a result appear? Chapter 1129. Logically speaking, this punch should have been able to blast the black-clothed man into dregs. Why did this black-clothed man block it with just a raise of his hand? Furthermore, there wasn't any chaotic flow of aura. What was going on? Everyone was dumbfounded at this moment. Even Wei Chang, Yi Zizi, and Death Mage were stupefied. Why was it like this? Why didn't LV Liang's punch cause any harm to him? In fact, all the power was absorbed in an instant. Who was this black-clothed man? LV Liang was now very shocked. Her confident punch was actually blocked just like that. Furthermore, he was using his palm. Furthermore, the other party had not even released his do chi. How was this possible? How did he do it? You have the capital to be arrogant, but you shouldn't be arrogant in front of me. The black-robed man said indifferently, and his palms suddenly shone with boundless light. This aura was the same as the Pegasus meteor fish just now, but it was even more majestic. The man in black pushed LV Liang's fish lightly. Everything happened in an instant, leaving no time for anyone to react. LV Liang's eyes were filled with golden light. This man had actually absorbed the punch just now and turned it into his own strength to attack. This was an attack he had never seen before, because he didn't notice it at all. In an instant, LV Liang felt his right arm heat up. Wei Chang immediately disappeared from where he was, but he was still half a beat too late. A beam of golden light shot out from the black-clothed man's palm, drowning LV Liang's right arm and shooting straight into the sky. In this dark night, this long streak of golden light was as dazzling as a meteor. However, the pressure it emitted was terrifying. Fear spread in everyone's hearts. At this moment, those who could regain their senses all turned around and ran. This black-clothed man was too terrifying. Lonesome Hatred, who had come to his senses, chose to retreat immediately. Pure gold was indeed very important, but if he didn't have the life to enjoy it, it was unnecessary. Life was the most important thing. Wei Chang stopped in the air and looked at his little brother. At this moment, his right arm and right shoulder had completely disappeared. It formed a semicircle. If the attack had been on the head. If that was the case, then LV Lu would be insta-killed on the spot, and even Wei Chang would not be able to save her. LV Liang could not feel the pain at all. The real pain was on her face. He had actually been insta-killed by someone else. This is simply throwing away his honor's face. Thinking of what she had just said, LV Liang felt ashamed. In the entire team, there was no record of failure. However, just now, he had been defeated. Moreover, he had no power to fight back. This palm didn't land on his arm, but on his face. How am I going to face his honor when I return? How was he supposed to meet every member of the team? He had thrown all their faces away. If one person were to be humiliated, the entire team would be humiliated. I'll leave him to you then, don't let him escape. Yi Zizi warned. This black-clothed man must die. There is no other possibility. Before Wei Chang finished speaking, everyone else immediately left. Only Wei Chang and the black-clothed man remained in the sky. Meanwhile, the black-clothed man who was standing in the small workshop was very puzzled. The group of people seemed to know each other just now, and they were even chatting with each other for a bit. If all of them knew each other, why was there only one person left? Why didn't all of them come at me together? There aren't many people who are able to make all of the 7 deadly sins come at me together. The black-clothed man looked at the man in front of him and asked faintly, "What do you plan to use to exchange for the gold this time?" "Your life," Wei Chang said faintly. "If the little brother is unable to complete it, then I, the big brother, can only do it." The black-clothed man laughed lightly, "This again. My life isn't that easy to take. In my opinion, it is still possible for you to take it. True, you are much stronger than that person just now, but I want to tell you, I am also much stronger than him. What happened just now was just an appetizer." The black-clothed man's tone was dull, but when he said it, it carried a kind of pretentiousness. To still say that what happened just now was just an appetizer, then what is the main course? Let's change to another place to spar. Wei Chang proposed faintly. In the past, Wei Chang didn't care about these things at all, but right now, Wei Chang also cared about the casualties of commoners. As you wish. The black-clothed man didn't cower and agreed straightforwardly. Chapter 1130. The two disappeared into the night sky. All of the black-clothed men felt disappointed. This was going to be an ultimate battle, but they weren't going to watch it. This feeling was like having your masturbation tube cut off, that kind of disappointment and depression. LV Liang was also brought back to the inn by everyone. The blood tribe sisters were stunned for a moment. When they saw that their man's shoulder and arm had completely disappeared, their beautiful faces instantly paled. "Hubby, what's wrong with you?" The sisters burst into tears. Yi Zizi and the others took off their black masks, and Tang Wei let out a deep sigh. "The accident that happened tonight is really something that I am unable to digest." LV Liang didn't even have the face to face his wives. They asked him what was wrong. How should he answer? He charged forward with arrogant words, only to be killed by the enemy instead. LV Liang slowly lowered his head, not daring to meet his wife's gaze. He felt that they were so unworthy. Yi Zizi hurriedly contacted Qing Yutong. This matter was not an ordinary matter, and right now, Qing Yutong was the person with the highest position among all of them, so it was best to let Qing Yutong make the decision. Very quickly, Qing Yutong received Yi Zizi's sound transmission, and she hurriedly ran over to the tavern at this side. Of course, they came together. The whole room was filled with people. Meanwhile, LV Liang was sitting on the ground expressionlessly, and he didn't dare to raise his head. The blood race sisters were worriedly waiting at the side. "Big brother, what's wrong with you?" Yi Hong had also rushed over at this time. Seeing that her big brother's right arm and shoulder were gone, she hurriedly asked. Although it was gone, the wound was automatically healing, but it could not grow a new arm. LV Liang finally raised her head and looked towards Yi Hong. When she saw Yi Hong's concerned gaze, LV Liang was unable to face Yi Hong. Not only was he a sinner, he didn't even set a good example. After taking a look at everyone in the room, LV Liang slowly knelt onto the ground. "I am useless, I have brought shame to everyone, and even to his honor." Qing Yutong tightly wrinkled her eyebrows. "Aren't we going to snatch a piece of pure gold? How did things turn out like this? Why did they come to the evil men's city? What the hell happened?" Right now, Qing Yutong was completely confused, and she could only ask Tang Wei, who was at the side. Tang Wei told the whole story. It turned out that her brother-in-law needed pure gold, and everyone came out to look for it. On the other hand, LV Shu wanted to snatch the pure gold, but in the end, she was killed by someone. Qing Yutong's expression became grave, and she slowly sat on the wooden chair. LV Liang's defeat wasn't just LV Liang's fault. If brother-in-law knew about it, he would definitely be furious. Right now, Wei Chang was fighting with the black-clothed man, and Qing Yutong felt that with Wei Chang's strength, he should be able to easily defeat the black-clothed man. This would be able to slightly wash away the humiliation, but with LV Liang being turned into such a state, Qing Yutong also didn't know how brother-in-law would choose. After all, this had never happened before. When one's underling was beaten to a cripple, one would definitely want to kill the entire family of the other party. In actuality, back then, Death Mage was also crippled by his honor. To be more precise, Death Mage's bones were all scattered. Wei Chang still kept this matter a secret. After all, Death Mage was summoned by his honor. However, LV Liang was different. LV Liang was his honor's little brother, and the significance of LV Liang was different. This little brother of mine was acting cool outside, and in the end, he got his face slapped instead. If this matter were to spread out, where would his honor put his face? Let's wait for Uncle Wei to come back first. Tang Wei suggested in a low voice. Qing Yutong also felt that Wei Chang was right. We can only wait for Wei Chang to return before making a decision. Yi Hong had never seen her brother so depressed. Even when her brother was cuckolded, he did not look like this. From the looks of it, Big Brother has really suffered a huge blow this time. Right now, Zi Shan was also standing at the side silently. She wanted to make peace with Yi Hong, but there were a lot of people at the scene, and Zi Shan seemed to be unable to put down her face. On the contrary, I feel that the black-robed man is very powerful. Yi Zizi suddenly said while leaning on the side. Kai Yun nodded his head. He is indeed very powerful. To be able to absorb LV Liang's power and transform it into his own power to counterattack, it isn't that there aren't such methods, but to be able to do it to such a degree, it is rather difficult. The two lowly girls who mainly focused on strength started discussing. That black-robed man is probably the most powerful person that has appeared so far. To be able to instantly kill LV Liang, that kind of strength is very terrifying. I suddenly have a new understanding of this Kangluo continent. Brett said faintly. From the looks of it, I haven't completely understood this Kangluo continent in the past. Yi Zizi's gaze was also filled with excitement. I wonder how many of such powerful people there are. It would be great if there were a dozen of them. And right now, Tang Wei was worried about Uncle Wei. Just now, from what Yi Zizi said, the black-robed man seems to be very powerful, and Uncle Wei should be able to easily deal with him. On the other side. When the two of them appeared again, they were already on a swampy land. To Wei Chang, it was the same no matter where he was. Because the result would not be different. Right now, there was only one thing that he had to do, and that was to kill the black-robed man in front of him. Only then would he be able to slightly wash away this bad record. The place you chose is not bad. The black-robed man said faintly. He slowly descended and stepped onto the congealed earth. However, upon closer inspection, he did not step onto the congealed earth at all, and was merely floating. Wei Chang asked faintly, "Who are you?" "Me. I am just a bored wanderer. Wherever there is liveliness, I will go there." The black-robed man said lightly, as if he was toying with Wei Chang. "Then, your final destination will end here." Wei Chang said faintly. "This kind of humiliation can only be washed away with blood, there is no mercy to speak of." The black-robed man laughed lightly. "Why are you guys so confident? Are you so sure that I will die here? Or could it be that you are the same as that fellow just now, speaking without using your brain?" The black-robed man said faintly, fiercely refuting Wei Chang, and even said that Wei Chang spoke without using his brain. It had already been a long time since Wei Chang was insulted like this, and anger suddenly appeared in his heart. He was in a bad mood. "All along, I only bullied others. When has there ever been a reason for me to be bullied by others? I have always spoken with my strength." Wei Chang said gravely, then slowly raised both of his arms. Wei Chang's arms could be seen changing at a speed that was visible to the naked eye, and in a blink of an eye, they changed into two long and thick monsters. Rows of spotlessly white and sharp teeth with mucus could be seen, and when the teeth landed on the ground, green smoke could be seen. The saliva had corrosive properties. The black-robed man slightly turned his head and said unhurriedly, "So, you are not a human." "Whether I am a human or not, this is not important. What is important is..." Just when Wei Chang finished speaking, the monster with two arms directly attacked towards the black-robed man. The black-robed man immediately leaped backwards. Boom! A huge crater could be seen on the ground where the black-robed man was standing, and his gaze seemed to be calm, and there was no panic. Chi! Over 100 monsters sprung out from the dust that filled the sky, but they were much smaller than those monsters just now. The black-robed man's expression slightly changed. Looking from far away, it looked as if countless snakes were sprayed out, and the snakes attacked towards the figure in the sky, and the snakes even formed a huge net. You indeed have the strength to do so. The black-robed man said faintly, no longer hiding his strength, and went all out. Chapter 1131. The black-clothed man's pupils suddenly congealed, and a cold killing intent was released in the air, causing people to feel a chill in their hearts. The dochi in the world gathered from all directions, forming a terrifying current, and the black-clothed man's entire body shone with a red light, making him look like a world-destroying demon god. This kind of aura directly caused the sky to change. The deafening sound of thunder rang out, piercing through the world, just like the end of the world. Wei Chang's gaze became strange. This person's ability is indeed out of my expectations. Being able to insta-kill LV Liang is indeed not a problem. But gather! Wei Chang shouted angrily. The hundreds of pythons could be seen gathering once again, and actually fusing together, transforming into a giant python. However, different from other giant pythons, it only had a huge mouth, and those rows of sharp teeth that carried a fishy smell in its mouth. The black-clothed man's strength was completely displayed. Looking at the pythons that were surging towards him, the black-clothed man actually chose to not move. This made Wei Chang a bit puzzled, but he didn't take it to heart. Roar! The python's huge mouth closed, and the entire world seemed to have trembled for a bit. With such a bite, I reckon that even the sky would be torn apart. Formidable. The black-clothed man said gravely. Wei Chang wasn't too surprised. This kind of opponent might be the strongest that I have ever seen. Of course, excluding Nan Wuqi from before, this person's strength. I'm afraid that the difference isn't too big. The black-clothed man could be seen doing a split. With both of his legs resisting the python's pressure, he crossed his arms and looked at Wei Chang, appearing to be very relaxed. Wei Chang laughed lowly. You are indeed a bit stronger than what I imagined. Just a bit. Just a bit. However, the black-clothed man's expression froze. He felt that the python's mouth seemed to be, without any time to think, the black-clothed man chose to dodge. Boom! A black light could be seen spurting out from the python's mouth, giving off a very sticky feeling, just like a black menstruation. However, the aura and pressure that it emitted made people feel fear. The battle between the two seemed to have caused the sky to change. The entire sky changed from night to light purple. It gave people a very bad feeling, as if it was foretelling death. The black-clothed man appeared at the side, turned his head and looked at his shoulder, only to see that a piece of the black clothes on his shoulder was missing, and there was even a black flame on his shoulder. He raised his head slightly and looked at Wei Chang. The man in black seemed to be angry. I immediately tore off the cloth on my shoulder. I am very clear that this black object is corrosive. Wei Chang retracted his hands and turned them into human hands. You are the first person that is able to injure me, no, monster. The black-clothed man said lightly, and the evil aura that was emitting from his body was still rising. The swamp began to boil, and countless creatures were cooked. The entire sky became even more purple, and thick bolts of lightning pierced through the clouds, creating a strange scene. Wei Chang said indifferently, No, I will kill you later. Don't boast too early. Otherwise, you'll end up like that brat. With that, the black-clothed man disappeared into the void. Wei Chang frowned slightly and his figure flashed. Boom boom boom. The ground beneath Wei Chang's feet was smashed by a strange force. It was so deep that the bottom could not be seen. Wei Chang's expression turned grave. When did such a powerful person appear in the Kangluo continent? In the entire team, only 7 deadly sins and Nan Wuqi could compete with such a character. As for the other members, just like LV Liang, they were instantly killed. Just as Wei Chang was pondering, a red deviant flame suddenly burst out from the bottomless pit below him. The diameter of this deviant flame had already reached 100 meters. Just like a flame that was spouted out from the ground, the flame shot towards the sky in a cylindrical shape. To be precise, the flame was preparing to devour Wei Chang. The temperature in the surrounding had already risen to the extreme, and the result of the high temperature was burning. Everything below him was ignited with raging flames, and the purple color of the sky was a perfect match for the purple color. Wei Chang understood how terrifying a deviant flame was. After all, his honor had grasped more than 10 different mysteries, and every single deviant flame had its own unique meaning. And this deviant flame in front of him. Wei Chang placed both of his hands on top of each other. Chaos Candle Spirit. At this moment, Wei Chang's arms rapidly expanded, as if they were being charged with energy. A terrifying pressure was emitted out from Wei Chang's body, and strands of black fog slowly flowed out from Wei Chang's body, forming a black net behind Wei Chang. However, this black net was not very orderly. It was like a kind of cell structure that was connected together, and it was currently devouring the Do Qi in the surroundings. Puff! A black essence shot out from Wei Chang's palm. The terrifying energy had already engulfed the surroundings, and the ground was trembling violently. It was as if the ground was unable to withstand such an attack and was about to shatter into pieces. Cracks formed on the ground, and the ravine was so deep that the bottom couldn't be seen, and it had even started to move. At this moment, one red and one black collided fiercely. At the moment of the collision, the air seemed to have quietened down, and there was even a ringing in one's ears. However, this feeling only lasted for an instant. Chapter 1132. In an evil men's city, Yi Zizi and the others looked at the purple light in the sky, feeling this extraordinary might. Does this gluttonous monster want to destroy this place? Yi Zizi said calmly. Wei Chang was truly enraged this time. Yi Hong finally understood Uncle Wei's strength. Compared to Uncle Wei, she was simply a piece of trash. Now, Kai Yun had lost his former childishness and had become serious. Because for Wei Chang to treat him like this, the black-clothed man just now probably had a corresponding strength. But for something like this to happen, it was really hard to accept. Kai Yun's thoughts were also Brett's and Moonlight's thoughts. This time, they had encountered a tough obstacle. Qing Yutong let out a deep breath. Originally, I only came out to play around, but I actually played around with such a thing. Wei Chang had actually caused such a huge commotion, and the other party's strength. It had been so many years. This is the first time I've seen it. Within a dilapidated temple, Lai Gu and Do Fusha raised their heads and looked towards the horizon. Big brother, what's going on? Do Fusha swallowed his saliva. This aura felt like Uncle Wei. Lai Gu let out a deep sigh. Seems like Wei Chang met with a very powerful person. Do Fusha was confused. Powerful people. With so many experts in the team, was there even a need for Uncle Wei to make a move? The others would be able to handle it. How powerful? Do Fusha asked weakly. Lai Gu looked at Do Fusha and said coldly, I can kill you with a single finger. Ah! Seeing the coldness emitted from Lai Gu's gaze, Do Fusha's heart immediately became heavy. Lai Gu's mood recently wasn't very good, and it was all because of this fatty Qing Su. He had wasted all his time here. He really wanted to see what had happened to Wei Chang. At this moment, Qing Su put down the pig trotter in his hand and put his palms together. Revenge breeds revenge. Let's shake hands, we're good friends. After hearing that, Lai Gu immediately clenched his fists. Big brother. Calm down. Calm down. Don't be rash. Don't stop me. I will kill him today. Just a piece of trash who only knows how to eat, drink, and poop all day long. Furthermore, He still has that sanctimonious look on his face. I feel disgusted just by looking at him. Lai Gu already couldn't take it anymore. What's the point of keeping this kind of trash in the team? Eat shit. Do Fushi immediately hugged onto Lai Gu's thigh. Big brother, you really have to calm down, you can't kill him. Mother****. This is trash. Ching Su exhaled slowly and said, Benefactor, if you want to kill me, I will not fight back. Let me return to the embrace of Buddha. Look at him. If I don't kill him, the heavens will not tolerate it. Lai Gu's mental state had already been tortured to the extreme by Ching Su. At this moment, his face was flushed red, and he was on the verge of going berserk. Fortunately, Fushi was at the side persuading Lai Gu, allowing Lai Gu to regain a trace of clarity. Otherwise, if he really slapped Ching Su to death, he would really return to the embrace of Buddha. God said, if I don't enter hell, who will? Benefactor, do it. Mother****, this is what the Buddha said, you idiot. Ching Su smiled and said, it's the same, it's the same. Mother****. Lai Gu shouted out, then fiercely stomped onto the ground. This dilapidated temple was originally located at the top of the mountain, and when Lai Gu stomped down, zzzzzzz, cracks instantly appeared on the ground, spreading in all directions. Even the walls of the dilapidated temple began to crack. Big brother, you destroyed the mountain. So be it. I really want to F***king trample him to death. Lai Gu pointed at Ching Su and cursed. However, when Ching Su looked at the dilapidated temple that was on the verge of collapse, a dazed expression appeared on his face. That plump face of his was trembling, the pig trotter that was in his hand fell onto the ground, and his pair of tiny eyes became strange. Lai Gu did not notice Ching Su's strange expression and shouted out, carry this idiot away, don't get squashed to death. Right after Lai Gu finished speaking, he felt a huge power coming from his back, and his entire body was sent flying. Fushi tightly clenched his fists, and his pair of eyes turned dark purple. His entire person looked just like a puppet. However, right now, the sky was already filled with boundless purple light. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. Right now, the red deviant flame was still clashing with Wei Chang's black light. The surrounding ground was completely unable to withstand the pressure and turned into a huge abyss, and the terrifying pressure was even contending with the sky, thunder. Suddenly, an explosion rang out in the air. This was the voice of the black-robed man. The deviant flame that was spat out actually carried the attribute of lightning. Crackling sounds could be heard as it revolved around the deviant flame. It seemed like it was going to counterattack. Wei Chang slightly furrowed his brows. He was quite shocked by the current situation. This person actually still has the strength to counterattack. This is a bit surprising. Heaven essence. Another explosion rang out, and it reverberated throughout the world. The color of the deviant flame actually changed. From red, it turned white. Wei Chang's expression instantly became serious. How is this possible? How can the color of a deviant flame change? Even his honor's color never changed. White flames bearing sky, the black-robed man shouted angrily. The entire ground suddenly stopped shaking, and everything became calm. However, this calm was the calm before the storm. Boom! In the Sea of Innocence, a seemingly endless chasm appeared, running through the north and south, and surging seawater gushed into the chasm. The sea level of the Sea of Innocence dropped rapidly, and the tremors even caused tsunamis. Even in Water City, there were earthquakes at the bottom of the sea and volcanic eruptions. At this moment, the entire Kangluo continent was suffering from all kinds of natural disasters. Ordinary people couldn't even survive. The black-robed man's strength had already exceeded Wei Chang's expectations. The terrifying white flames and lightning instantly engulfed Wei Chang's body. Straight into the heavens. The entire sky was replaced by white light. It was so dazzling, so terrifying. However, at this moment, in the city of the wicked, a chasm separated the city. This chasm even extended into the distance. The entire city of the wicked was filled with an aura of death and anguished wails. The people living in the coastal areas suffered the most. This time, the tsunami was different from the previous one. This time, it was a full-scale tsunami. The tsunami was as long as the Sea of Innocence was. This time, even the north wasn't spared. The entire Kangluo continent was currently immersed in the fear of death. When the people saw this phenomenon, they could only kneel down and beg for mercy. However, the merciless disaster still struck mercilessly. Compared to the north of the Kangluo continent, the south suffered even more severe damage. If in the past, Nan Nan's face was a handsome face, then right now, that face was filled with countless cracks. The two people who were engrossed in the battle probably didn't expect this kind of outcome. A black figure floated in the air. His face looked slightly tired, but he gave off the impression that he could still fight. Wei Chang's huge body resisted the pressure from the sky. This was also something that the black-clothed man had long prepared. Ever since he knew that Wei Chang was a monster, he had been preparing for this. This was also a precaution. He had originally thought that it was unnecessary. But from the looks of it now, it wasn't unnecessary. Fortunately, he had kept such a card up his sleeve. Purple light gathered, layer upon layer, tens of thousands of illusions, vast like the waves of the sea. There was even a suffocating terror mixed within. Landslides and tsunamis. It was just like the scene of doomsday. Wei Chang's huge body stood between the heavens and earth, not moving at all. "What are you laughing at?" Wei Chang asked softly. "You think you can win?" The man in black didn't feel very good. "Originally, I wanted to fight with you with my normal body, but from the looks of it now, forget it, I'm not going to pretend anymore, the difference between me and you." Before Wei Chang could finish his sentence, the tentacle below his head suddenly turned upwards. It opened up its huge mouth. At this moment, the purple light wasn't something that could destroy the heavens and earth, it was more like a child that couldn't be defeated. Even if it wanted to run away, it couldn't. All of it was absorbed by Wei Chang. This qi of heaven and earth is indeed excellent. Yihua stretched out his two tongues and lightly licked his sharp teeth. He felt that his entire body was filled with strength. The black-clothed man looked at Wei Chang and suddenly laughed out loud. "Good. Good. Good." The three "good" immediately caused a commotion. That straightforward voice made it seem as if he, the black-clothed man, had won the battle. "Say it. How do you want to die?" Wei Chang asked gravely. It was also the first time that he used it to become so huge. Firstly, the opportunity was hard to come by, and I wanted to test it out. Secondly, to intimidate the opponent. After all, LV Liang had lost face, and as the big brother, I still have to regain face. The black-clothed man didn't choose to run away, he actually tore off his black mask, revealing an extremely ordinary face, but in the middle of his eyebrows, there was a black mark in the shape of a W, to be able to fight with such a strong opponent today. "I will also die a worthy death, happy. Delightful." The black-clothed man hammered his chest and shouted. From the depths of his eyes, one could indeed feel that he was truly happy. Wei Chang looked at the man in front of him with doubt. Very few people would be able to face things so calmly. And he was actually able to do so. "How do you want to die?" Wei Chang asked coldly. "Today, this person is definitely going to die." The black-clothed man licked his dry lips. "There are many ways to die. are you able to grant me that kind of way to die? One of Wei Chang's tentacles could be seen slowly flying towards the black-clothed man. In front of the black-clothed man, that creepy head seemed to be incomparably huge, and the mucus on the teeth also made one feel disgusted. The winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. The black-clothed man seemed to have accepted his fate as he slowly closed his eyes. There was basically no sign of struggling at all. In front of such a strong opponent, struggling was useless. Wei Chang naturally wouldn't let the black-clothed man off. Without any hesitation, he swallowed the black-clothed man. However, after swallowing the black-clothed man, Wei Chang heard the black-clothed man's dying words. "I'm finally free." This caused Wei Chang to be puzzled. Free? To him, death is a release. Was he begging for death just now? Shouldn't he be begging for death when facing a strong opponent? Wei Chang suddenly thought of something. His expression changed greatly, and that tentacle immediately began wriggling, as if it was vomiting. That's right, Wei Chang is going to vomit this person out. However, right at this moment, Wei Chang felt as if his brain was being struck by an electric drill. This kind of pain was something that even Wei Chang was unable to endure, and his enormous body actually collapsed onto the ground, bringing up a huge amount of dust. And on Wei Chang's head, a mark similarly appeared. W. The purple light in the sky had already disappeared, and the darkness enveloped the earth once again, as if nothing had happened. Right now, the dilapidated temple had already collapsed, and a part of the mountain had also shattered. Dou Fusher could be seen carrying Qing Su's enormous body, while Qing Su was looking at his dilapidated temple blankly. Qing Su's expression was already extremely sinister. Just a moment ago, Lai Gu was sneak attacked by Dou Fusher, and after smashing through a few mountains, Lai Gu immediately turned back. To Lai Gu, this kind of collision was basically nothing. To be more precise, Dou Fusher's attack was nothing to Lai Gu. Dou Fusher. Lai Gu pointed at Dou Fusher and shouted out. Chapter 1134. O underscore 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 O choking with sobs. Novel. However, when Lai Gu saw Dou Fusher's eyes, he suddenly thought of something. In the past, Qing Su had also used this technique to control humans. This could be seen from Dou Fusher's eyes. You. Lai Gu pointed at Qing Su and asked gravely. Lowly human. You actually dare to destroy my sacred ground. Qing Su suddenly looked towards Lai Gu, and his tone was filled with dense killing intent. Lai Gu hurriedly explained, "It's me." Lai Gu. Don't you recognize me? Buddha will never forgive you. F*******. Lai Gu cursed in a low voice. Are you crazy? Even if you're sick, can't you cure yourself? Thinking to hear, Lai Gu suddenly sobered up. This Qing Su. He was indeed sick. This guy must have used him as an experiment, and in the end, he couldn't come back. This idiot. That must be it. Damn it. Qing Su said coldly. Lai Gu slowly retreated. This Qing Su is a rather special existence in the entire team. No one wanted to fight with Qing Su, because he only knew how to use sneak attacks. What was the point of fighting with him? Was there something wrong with him? Qing Su. Your honor. Could it be that you don't even want to listen to his honor's words? Lai Gu shouted out explosively, hoping to make Qing Su calm down. His honor, my ass, go and die. Qing Su didn't recognize anyone at all. Lai Gu hated this kind of situation the most. Because this Qing Su only knows how to shout, and doesn't know how to make a move. It seems like he can shout someone to death, if it was someone else, Lai Gu might not believe it. However, this was Ching Su. Therefore, Lai Gu instantly disappeared from his original spot and ran away. However, Ching Su didn't chase after Ching Su. Instead, he looked at his broken-down temple and went into a daze. Also, Do Fusher who was being ridden was also the same. Lai Gu naturally ran back to Voidless Empire. I must definitely report this matter to his honor. That idiot Ching Su had played himself into a corner. In the past, he often played like this. This time, he would definitely play bigger. With Ching Su's strength, no one would be able to get close to him. Lai Gu hurriedly ran towards his honor's bedroom. It's extremely urgent. However, Lai Gu who was in the midst of running suddenly stopped for a bit, his entire body trembled for a bit, and then fell onto the stairs. Lai Gu held onto his chest, feeling very uncomfortable, as if I'm going to reveal my true form. I must have definitely been poisoned just now. That damn Ching Su, every time I fight with him, he would always use this poison. Are you King sick? Lai Gu wanted to use teleportation, but his entire body froze, looking towards his honor's wife's bedroom. I can't transform here. If not, His Honor, Your Honor, save me. Lai Gu shouted out in his heart. Right now, I don't even need to use sound transmission anymore. Just now, I shouldn't have run straight back here. I should have run to another place and see if I am poisoned or not. Lai Gu's hands had already transformed into dragon claws, and the sturdy ground was like tofu being scratched apart. Lai Gu was no longer able to control the aura within his body. Roar! A dragon roar resounded throughout the entire Wushu Empire. Right now, Yi Hua was currently ravishing Qian Yuqing who was beneath him, but when he heard that dragon roar, Yi Hua's expression changed greatly. This was the sound of Lai Gu wailing in grief. Yi Hua instantly disappeared from Qian Yuqing's stomach. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji naturally sensed it as well. This surging aura actually appeared within the imperial palace. Qingye's body immediately disappeared from the bed. Of course, when Zhu Tian who was currently doing an experiment heard Lai Gu's scream, he immediately stopped what he was doing. Yi Juetian and Gong Yu also sensed it and hurriedly ran over. Right after Yi Hua appeared, people started appearing beside him one after another, looking at Lai Gu who was lying on the ground. The dragon claws on his hands had already appeared. There was only one word in Yi Hua's mind. It's over. Zhu Tian's head was also starting to feel dizzy. This Lai Gu seems to have been poisoned. Wasn't he at Ching Su's side watching over Lai Gu? Why did he get poisoned? Could it be Ching Su? Lai Gu, what happened to you? Qingye hurriedly walked forward. Yi Hua shouted out gravely, come back. A green light immediately shot out from Lai Gu's hands. God bless me. It's best if I can suppress it. Donghuang Baiji looked at Lai Gu who was in pain, and especially that pair of bone claws. Donghuang Baiji tightly wrinkled her brows. Your Honor. I can't hold on anymore. After Lai Gu finished his last sentence, his entire body began distorting. Roar! A dragon roar once again erupted out from Lai Gu's throat, and his entire body immediately revealed his original form. A gigantic bone dragon appeared in front of everyone's eyes. At this moment, Qian Yuqing rushed over and covered her small mouth. It's you. Donghuang Baiji said coldly. Of course, Donghuang Baiji still remembered what happened back then. A bone dragon and a black mist figure. They joined hands with Ying family to attack Voidless Realm. How many people from Voidless Realm were killed by them? Furthermore, I even got injured by them. I won't forget about it in my entire life. However, today, this bone dragon actually appeared in front of me. What was even more unbelievable was that It was actually Lai Gu. Yi Juetian and Gong Yu looked at Lai Gu blankly. This is actually an undead dragon. Oh my god, it is actually Big Brother's subordinate. Right now, Gong Yu was truly rejoicing. This is what it means to be strong. Right now, Zhu Tian no longer had any thoughts.